Y'all, so somebody posted and said, wait, I'm confused. Why do Caribbeans say that Black Americans have no culture? Okay. So a Jamaican American woman commented under this. Okay. So this woman has two Jamaican parents, but she was born and raised in America. Okay. So she commented and she said, to be honest, I've never heard Caribbean people say this, but what is the Black American culture? So somebody replied to her and they said, everything you emulate. So then she said, which is what exactly? So then I replied to her, you all, because take a look at her at her page. Look at her bio. Okay, go ahead and read that for yourselves. Okay. So I then replied to her and I said, your bio literally says a splash of hood with a dash of bougie. Are you saying that you got that vernacular from your Jamaican parents? And would y'all believe that she blocked me? Like, what? Y'all know something I say about racism all the time is that it's just not rooted in reality. In fact, let me tell y'all the example I just thought of that got me cracking up. Y'all remember back in 2020 during like the height of the Black Lives Matter protests, right? When that white man said that some black people spray painted on his garage and it said blacks rule. Come on now. What black person spray painted blacks rule on your garage? What the hell? That's not even how black people talking. Everybody was like, man, what? Like, this is not even believable. Come to find out, that man spray painted his own garage, right? But this is the point that I'm making. This is the point that I'm making, right? When black people move to, a white city or neighborhood or whatever, right? We don't have to pretend that we are the victim. We don't have to go spray painting on our own garages or anything like that. Because I assure you, white people will hang nooses from your door, burn crosses in your yard, etc., etc., etc. They will spray paint on your door saying, go home, nigger, all types of stuff, right? So black people, we don't have to pretend to be the victim or, like pretend white people did something to us because they actually will take care of that, right? But on the other hand, white people have to spray paint their own garages and act like black people did it because what they are pushing is not rooted in reality. If it was, you could just wait for a black person to come and do it, right? Like you wouldn't have to do it yourself and pretend that a black person did it. But again, what they are pushing is not rooted in reality. And that brings me to this point about xenophobia. This woman very strongly implied that Black Americans do not have culture, right? She said, oh, I've never heard Caribbean people say this, but what is the Black American culture, right? And somebody replied to her and said, everything you emulate. And she said, which is what exactly? And then when I replied to her with facts, when I said, your bio says a splash of hood with a dash of bougie, are you claiming that is Jamaican vernacular that you got from your Jamaican parents? That didn't open up the lines of communication or anything. No, she just blocked me. Because again, this is not rooted in reality, right? You know good and well that Black Americans have a rich, vibrant culture that you yourself are balls deep in, as we see from your bio, right? But instead of acknowledging that, you sitting here pretending that we don't for whatever reason. I guess it makes you feel better. Something I feel with other groups of black people who are not Black Americans, I feel like there's this one-sided competition a lot, right? And I actually spoke to a Caribbean guy who is from a small island in the Caribbean. And he was like, yeah, that's definitely a thing. And he mentioned, within the Caribbean, they have that same thing about Jamaicans because Jamaicans are like, when you think of the Caribbean, you're probably going to think of Jamaicans, right? So other Caribbeans kind of look at Jamaicans out the side of their eye like, oh, you ain't better than me, right? And it's the same thing with black people, period. When you think of a black person, you're going to think about Black Americans. And because of that, a lot of these, Caribbeans and Africans have this one-sided beef with Black Americans. Like you sitting here talking about what is Black American culture? Why you talking about your hood and bougie though? Because I promise you, that's not how Jamaicans talk. So clearly you know what Black American culture is, right? You're just trying to make a point. You're trying to humble somebody. This is my thing. If I made an Instagram page and I put my bio as, oh yeah, yardy girl, bumba clot man, what the rasclat is going on, batty boy, y'all would be like, Flower Tower, clearly that is Jamaican vernacular. Maybe you should lay that to rest, right? Y'all will be able to acknowledge and understand that the way that I am talking is the way that Jamaicans talk, and that is their culture and not mine. And I look crazy in it, right? But when y'all do the same thing to Black Americans, right? When y'all be balls deep in our culture, then suddenly it's, what is your culture? Huh? I guess that goes back to how like the fish don't notice that they're in the water. That's just their normal surroundings, right? I guess you're so surrounded by my culture that you don't even recognize that you are surrounded by it, right? But then the crazy thing is this: when you say, oh, well, what is your culture? What am I emulating? And I point it out, I expect you to be an adult about it and say, oh, that's a good point. Wow. Like, thank you for bringing that up, right? But the fact that you blocked me means that you weren't actually here to learn anything or understand anything. You were here to humble Black Americans, and now you look fucking dumb. It's crazy because time and time again, you all prove that this is not actually about Black Americans not having culture. Like we all know Black Americans have culture. We all know that, right? But you all prove that it's not even about you thinking that Black Americans don't have culture. Because if it was about that, then when somebody clocked your tea the way that I clocked hers, you would say, oh, wow, like I never thought about it that way. Thank you for pointing that out to me so I can actually think about this. Like I just learned something new, right? But no, you blocked me. You blocked me because you know and I know, right, that you are balls deep in Black American culture, girl. Because if you wanted to talk like a Jamaican, guess what? Your bio would say, walk like a champion, talk like a champion. But no, your bio says you're bougie and hood and whatever, right? But then you turn around and act like that is not Black American vernacular, right? And I have to ask, what exactly is the point of all this? I don't understand it. Because me personally, I don't feel the need to act like other people don't have a culture. Like I can recognize, oh, that is so-and-so's culture, right? And I don't feel the need to say, oh, you don't have a culture. But for some reason, y'all feel the need to do that with Black Americans. Y'all feel the need to do that with us. And again, it comes off, you just trying to humble somebody. Now, I've never been to Jamaica, but I've been to the Caribbean before. I've been to Antigua and Guyana. And my thing is this: when I'm in other places, not just the Caribbean, wherever, right? When I'm in other places, I interact with people's cultures, and that is that. In some parts of their cultures, I'm like, oh, I like that. Like that really resonates with me. Some parts, not so much. And, that just is what it is. I never feel the need to say, oh, this person does not have a culture. Like, clearly they have a culture that is, like, clearly in your motherfucking face. Like quite obviously, right? And then my thing is this as well, right? Even if you look at some aspect of their culture and say you don't understand it, well, when somebody explains it to you and says, oh, well, we do that because A, B, C, and X, Y, Z, it's like, oh, okay, well, thanks for sharing that with me, right? I don't get why you all have to sit around and pretend that Black Americans don't have a culture. Like, I don't understand it. And, me personally, growing up, well, all Black Americans, we grew up in a racial society, so we're very race focused. So when I would see, Africans and Caribbeans rapping and this and that and stuff, I didn't really care. It was just like, we all Black. Who really cares, right? But then when I turn around and y'all talking about, but you ain't got no culture, though. How I don't have no culture and you're literally balls deep in it? Like quite clearly, you could not possibly think that I don't have a culture, right? So why are you saying that? Huh? And then when I point it out to you, you block me? So again, this is not, this is not coming from an innocent place. If it was really like you innocently really thinking, oh, Black Americans don't have culture because you're surrounded by it, just like the fish in the water think the water's not there because they're surrounded by it, right? If it was really just an innocent, lack of understanding, then when somebody pointed it out to you, you wouldn't block them. You would say, oh, man, like, wow, you showed me something I never even thought about. Thanks, right? But it's not about that. It's about humbling people because y'all have this like little sibling complex. Y'all really do. Like I said, I spoke to the Antiguan guy and he said even within the Caribbean, they feel like this about Jamaicans, right? Y'all feel like y'all got to humble somebody because you feel like they big dog and you trying to knock them down a peg. But the crazy thing is, bitch, nobody's thinking about you. That's the crazy thing. Growing up as a Black American in America, baby, I tell you, we was not talking about no motherfucking Jamaicans. We was not thinking about no motherfucking Jamaicans, right? So nobody's even thinking about you to think, oh, I'm better than you, right? But you still feel the need to knock somebody down the peg. But this is the gag. This is the kicker, bitch. You could never, ever humble me. First of all, point blank motherfucking period. But you especially can't humble me when you're balls deep in my culture and dressed up like me, bitch. You sitting here trying to tell me I don't have a culture while you are dressed up in said culture. Bitch, do you know how stupid you look? You know what this all boils down to? It's literally just a bunch of hateration. That's really what it is, right? Because you bitches love Black American culture. You all dressed up in it. But instead of just saying that, instead of being like, yeah, y'all got some good aspects to your culture, I like that, right? You got to sit around talking shit, trying to humble somebody. Nah, you ain't really shit though. You ever met a hating ass bitch like that, right? Like you could come to school, be like real cute. Everybody like, ooh, like you look good today. Then one bitch, oh, you look alright, like so and so and so. Meanwhile, bitch, you look like a butt. Bitch, you look like a butt, and then turn around and you imitating me though. Next day you come to school with your hair done like mine, dressed like mine, and you talking about I'm not really cute though, but you imitating me though. You dressed up in my shit though. Brings me back to my point. This brings me back to my point. You talking about I don't have no culture, but you dressed up in my shit. So it's not actually about me not having culture, bitch. It's about the fact that you mad that you love my motherfucking culture and you wish it was yours. Bumba clock that, bitch.